This page is a vibrant cover for Nintendo official magazine, boldly proclaiming Mario Kart as the main feature. It also highlights Smash Bros, Melee and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, with some tantalizing previews. Mario himself is front and center, looking ready for a race, and there's a glimpse of Samus Aran in action too. A real treat for any Nintendo fan. This page is a fun feature asking, are you a good sport? It pits Natasha, Atomic Kitten, against Tim Henman, the tennis ace. They answer a series of, what would you do? questions, covering scenarios like losing a game or seeing someone bullied. It's all about character and how you'd handle yourself, with fruit shoot drinks from Robinson's being promoted as the refreshing choice. This page is a bold declaration of Nintendo's dominance, proclaiming itself the UK's biggest selling magazine with a confident, here's why we've always been the UK's biggest selling Nintendo 64 and Nintendo magazine. It boasts 6 promises to its readers, including getting the scoop on new games and products first, loads of screenshots and tips, moves and cheats that actually help. The page features a group shot of the Team Nintendo crew, Barry, Mark, Tim, Dave, Tamsin, Nicola and Rich, all looking suitably intense or quirky. It also highlights upcoming features on Mario Kart and Smash Bros Melee, promising first GBA play and amazing new shots. Plus, there's a handy guide on how to get in touch with the magazine, whether by post or email. This page is a vibrant showcase of gaming excitement, dominated by a massive Mario Kart Super Circuit feature. We're treated to Mario in his kart, promising the inside scoop on tracks, races and items, with a tempting go to page 6 call to action for the full lowdown. Adjacent to this, a Super Smash Bros Melee preview teases a deep dive into the game, again directing us to go to page 14 for more. Over in the game news section we get a rundown of new titles like Denki Blocks, Jurassic Park 2i, Sonic Advance and X-Men, Reign of Apocalypse, with a nudge to go to page 70 for the full story. The page also features a glimpse of what looks like a racing game on the GameCube and Game Boy Advance, adding to the overall buzz of what's new and exciting in the world of Nintendo. This page dives straight into the reviews, highlighting Iridian 3D for the Game Boy Advance, which bravely attempts 3D, but we'll have to turn to page 20 to see if it's actually any good. We also get a look at Pitfall: The Mayan Adventure on the Game Boy Advance, a classic reborn, and Earthworm Jim, a delightful trip down memory lane. And don't forget High Heat Major League Baseball 2002. Apparently it's a slugfest, whatever that means. Over on the right it's a blagfest with a chance to win tickets to Alton Towers, so get entering for your chance to win. Plus, we've got some essential game guides to help you conquer Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, and make sure you don't miss out on the skateboarding fun. There's also a sneak peek at Mario Advance, and some handy tips for Super Mario Advance. It's a jam-packed page of gaming goodness. This page is all about Mario Kart Super Circuit, hyping it up as the ultimate Game Boy Advance racer. It boasts a massive roster of characters and tracks, promising link-up lunacy for multiplayer mayhem. The review section dives into the real deal, with a glowing endorsement that suggests it's a must-have, even comparing it favorably to its predecessors. The screenshots showcase the game's vibrant visuals, with one depicting a race in progress, and another showing the triumphant podium finish. It certainly looks like it's captured the frantic, fun spirit of the Mario Kart series. This page is a rather exciting full-page advert for Mario Kart Super Circuit on the Game Boy Advance. It features the ever-popular Mario and Toad, ready to race. The advert boldly proclaims big game and highlights the gameplay for karting capers. It's a classic promotional piece, aiming to get our thumbs itching for some portable karting action. This page dives into the character roster of Mario Kart Super Circuit, asking the all-important question, who are you gonna be? It showcases Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Toad, Peach, Wario, Donkey Kong, and Bowser, giving a brief rundown of their stats like acceleration and weight, with Toad and Peach being the speedy featherweights, and Bowser the heavy slugger. The reviewer seems to think that while the GBA version looks better than the SNES original, it definitely captures that classic feel, especially with the familiar items like the red shells. It's a great look at the cast and a reminder of how this game brought the N64 and SNES Mario Kart magic to our pockets. This page tackles the essential tools of the trade in Mario Kart Super Circuit, explaining how item usage can make or break your race. It highlights specific items like the green shell, noting its straight-line trajectory, and the infamous blue shell, described as one of the most feared weapons. The screenshots showcase various courses, including a glimpse of Ribbon Road, hinting at the more complex tracks to come. There's also a bit on Head Start, emphasizing the importance of a good launch off the line to avoid being left in the dust. It's a solid overview of race mechanics that any aspiring kart racer needs to master. And tucked away at the bottom, we have a little snippet of Denki blocks, featuring some adorable characters celebrating their puzzle-solving prowess. Mario Kart Super Circuit's track design and variety are celebrated in a tour of its 4 cups: Mushroom, Flower, Thunder, and Star. The Mushroom Cup offers introductory courses like Scenic Peach Circuit and jump-filled Shy Guy Beach, culminating in a straightforward Bowser Castle one. The Flower Cup ramps up the speed with Mario Circuit and introduces spooky challenges in Boo Lake, alongside the unique Cheese Land. The Thunder Cup presents slippery conditions in Luigi Circuit and a seaside adventure on Puka Puka Island, though Sunset Plain features outdated imagery. Finally, the Star Cup delivers icy challenges in Snowland, demanding jumps on Ribbon Road, and a pyramid-filled Yoshi Desert, leading to the ultimate test, a witch-filled Bowser Castle 3. Each track promises unique mayhem and contributes to the game's enduring appeal. This page dives into the track design of Mario Kart Super Circuit, highlighting the neat little touches that contribute to its quality. We get a peek at the Sunset Plain track, with its gorgeous setting sun, and the treacherous lakeside park, complete with erupting lava. There's also a mention of the bright Zeppelin, with Luigi's face on it. The page also touches on gameplay mechanics, like using bananas as power-ups to trip up opponents, and the strategic use of green shells. A charming illustration of characters from Denki blocks adds a bit of fun to the bottom half, teasing their Puzzle Island games. This page is all about getting the most out of Mario Kart Super Circuit on the Game Boy Advance. First up, Link It Up explains how to get a proper multiplayer race going with up to 4 players, and it sounds like it's a blast, offering the kind of action you'd only dream of on a handheld. We then switch to Coin It In, where the reviewer waxes lyrical about collecting coins for speed boosts and better handling, proving that money really does make the world go round, or at least makes your kart go faster. The Battle Stations section dives into the game's battle mode, a real highlight where you can link up with friends for some balloon-busting fun. It also mentions the sheer variety of tracks available, promising plenty of fun. The page features some fantastic screenshots of the game in action, showcasing the colorful tracks and iconic characters. Finally, the We Think section gives a glowing endorsement, declaring Mario Kart Super Circuit an essential purchase for any GBA owner, calling it awesome. This page is a full-page advert for Oxy 36 Duopads, featuring cartoon characters and a bold warning about improving your chances with clear skin, all while promoting the product. This page is a fantastic showcase for Super Smash Bros. Melee! It's got all the hallmarks of a true Nintendo classic, promising a universe of characters ready for some absolutely smashing action. We get a glimpse of the legendary Celebi, and the text hypes up the mind-boggling graphics and frantic button-bashing gameplay that we've come to expect from Nintendo. It sounds like it's packed with all your favorite heroes from across the Nintendo legacy, plus some exciting new faces. Mario himself is front and center, looking as eager as ever to get into the fight, and the game info box tells us it's a beat-em-up title by Nintendo with a release date still to be confirmed. Absolutely brilliant. This page is a glorious celebration of Super Smash Bros. Melee, featuring the iconic Link wielding his Master Sword and Hylian Shield, ready to face off against a very surprised Pikachu. The main headline, Bros, is emblazoned across the top, setting the stage for some serious brawling. Below, the text promises more frantic fisticuffs, and introduces a new coin mode, where players battle to collect dropped coins. It sounds like it's going to be just as fast-paced and chaotic as the original, with the ultimate goal of being the last one standing or the richest. We also get a look at Fox McCloud, demonstrating his nimble shine move to evade attacks, and Xamnas ready to unleash some serious punishment. It's shaping up to be an absolute must-have for any Nintendo fan. This page dives deep into the gameplay and characters of Super Smash Bros. Melee. We get a breakdown of the how to play, explaining how damage percentages increase, and how to launch opponents off the stage. The King of the Arena section highlights some of the game's incredible stages, including the fiery Death Mountain and the thrilling F-Zero-inspired Mute City. We're also treated to a look at some of the new stars joining the fray, with specific callouts for the ice climbers Sheik and Anis, each with a brief description of their origins and how they fit into the game. It's clear this game is packed with content, bringing beloved Nintendo characters together for epic battles. This page is a vibrant, psychedelic-inspired full-page advert featuring the words "School's Out" in bold, bubbly yellow and green lettering. Red circles are scattered across a background of swirling pink and yellow stripes, giving it a fun, energetic feel perfect for the end of the school year. This page dives into the combat mechanics and graphical prowess of Super Smash Bros. Melee. It highlights the diverse attack options, including projectile weapons like Fox's laser and Samus's charge shot, and emphasizes the impressive character detail, particularly Fox McCloud's fur and Mario's facial features. The reviewer notes that the GameCube's graphical capabilities are on full display, making for a visually stunning experience. It also teases the inclusion of Pokémon characters like Pikachu, Entei, and Lugia, noting that their Pika cries are a treat for the ears. The page concludes with a positive outlook, predicting the game's success on the GameCube due to its enhanced gameplay, more characters, arenas, and attacks. This page is a fantastic full-page advert for Game Boy Color. It's a summer-themed promotion showcasing a selection of great Game Boy Color titles. We've got Herculean feats in Hercules, the legendary journeys, a foray into a world of dinosaurs with the Land Before Time, and the magical adventures of Xena, warrior princess. Plus, get ready for some aerial action with Top Gun, Firestorm, and a dose of cartoon chaos in Tiny Toon Adventures. Buster saves the day. And for all you future law enforcers out there, RoboCop is here too. Developed by Titus and published by Swing and Virgin Interactive, it's a great lineup to get you through the summer months. This page is all about the latest and greatest Nintendo releases, and the star of the show is undoubtedly Iridian 3D. We get the lowdown on how games are scored, from real rubbish to an amazing game you must play, with a special awesome award for anything hitting 90% or above. It's a bit of a speed run through the Game Boy Advance library too, with mentions of Pitfall, Kitty, The Mummy, Earthworm Jim High Heat, and ML Baseball. Plus, we get a glimpse of some in-game action, showing off what looks like a rather intense baseball match, and some airborne dogfighting. The reviewer's thoughts on Iridian 3D are glowing, calling the levels brilliantly detailed, and the action fast and smooth. Sounds like a winner. This page features a review of Iridian 3D, proclaiming it a first of a kind, and a top-tier 3D shooter for the Game Boy Advance. The reviewer is clearly impressed, highlighting the game's smooth corridor shooting action, vivid colors, and spectacular explosion effects, suggesting it offers a visual experience previously only dreamed of on the GBA. The Looks section gives a glowing endorsement, praising the title's attention to detail and how some levels might even make you pinch yourself. Overall, the page paints a picture of a visually stunning and action-packed game. This page dives into the tour of duty for Iridian 3D, showcasing 7 distinct levels. We're taken through a disposal tunnel escape, a mission in the Pacific Ocean to hunt down a Cytector, a moon assault, an asteroid field traversal, and an epic showdown on planet Iridian. The Stop the Invasion section sets the scene, detailing Earth's struggle against the Iridian race. A particularly interesting point is the firepower feature, explaining weapon upgrades, though the reviewer does note that some upgrades might not be as impactful as others, with a real lack of definition between different weapon types. It's clear the game aims for impressive visuals and intense action, with descriptions of environments and enemies that are both detailed and atmospheric, even if some of the power-ups are a bit underwhelming. This page is a review of Pitfall: The Mayan Adventure, and it seems our reviewer is a tad underwhelmed. While they acknowledge the pumping soundtrack and the game's potential to get you in the mood for some indiscriminate blasting, the bosses are apparently so easy they're a disgrace. The game length is also criticized for lacking a save option, forcing you to finish it all in one sitting, which is apparently not ideal. The reviewer also notes that while the game has the looks and sounds to be a winner, it's repetitive and not very big, ultimately leading to a disappointing 69% score. The We Said section, however, offers a more glowing endorsement, calling it a remake of a Super NES classic, and another reason to order a GBA. It's a bit of a mixed bag then, with the reviewer clearly feeling that despite the classic nostalgia, Pitfall: The Mayan Adventure didn't quite live up to its heritage, suggesting the makers rushed it out for retro fans who might find the original superior. This page is a rip-roaring review of Earthworm Jim for the Game Boy Advance, and it's clear our reviewer is absolutely chuffed to bits. We're talking about a laser-gun-toting earthworm in a skin-tight spacesuit, and the lunacy is indeed continuing. The game is described as a colorful and hilarious experience, and if you enjoyed the Super NES version, you're in for a treat. The journey sees Jim blasting through 9 massive levels, facing off against Queen Slug for a Butt's goons, and keeping his slimy self alive. It's packed with humor, featuring moments like launching cows, which apparently don't help your quest but are hilariously fun, and bungee jumping on snot. The reviewer is particularly impressed with how it's a perfect conversion of the classic old game, with brilliantly animated and smooth characters. The screenshots showcase some of the wacky intergalactic action, from cosmic battles to navigating colorful wormholes. It's a proper blast from the past, brought back to life with all the charm and madness we expect from Earthworm Jim. This page reviews High Heat Major League Baseball 2002 for the Game Boy Advance. The reviewer finds the music upbeat, though Jim's yelp can get annoying. Jim's head can be used as a weapon or to grapple, and it's essential for controlling him, especially for jumps. The game is praised for its atmosphere and spectacle, with graphics described as very good indeed. However, the core gameplay loop of pitching and hitting is found to be repetitive and predictable, making scoring difficult without home runs. The reviewer notes the absence of a save function, calling it inexcusable, and ultimately awards the game a game score of 74%. It's suggested that the game could have been a contender if not for its dull gameplay. This page is a full-page advert for Banjo-Tooie on the Nintendo 64. It features two doors with iconic Banjo-Kazooie characters, Banjo and Kazooie, silhouetted on them, accompanied by the tagline, "Sometimes you need to split up to get the job done." The advert highlights that Banjo and Kazooie are back, and can explore new worlds separately. This page is a fantastic cover for Nintendo Official Magazine, proudly proclaiming, "Nintendo Awesome Collection." It features a bold, cracked red logo for Awesome with the Nintendo seal of quality above it. Below, the text, "The Awesome Collection," is emblazoned in large, striking white and silver lettering. The bottom of the page assures us that the games are completely tested by our experts, and that these are all the games you must have. It's a strong statement of intent, promising a curated selection of top-tier Nintendo 64 titles, and really gets you hyped to dive into what's inside. This page is all about Nintendo 64 classics. We've got a detailed look at Banjo-Kazooie, praising its adventure and platforming, and highlighting its final battle with Gruntilda as a standout. Conker's Bad Fur Day gets a nod for its humor, and its brilliant Matrix-inspired scene, though it's noted as being a bit pricey. Diddy Kong Racing is lauded for revolutionizing kart racing with planes and hovercrafts. Banjo-Tooie is described as a massive adventure with loads of puzzles, and the reviewer particularly enjoys the camera and world design. Beetle Adventure Racing is called a fun racer with great handling, and the multiplayer is a big plus. Finally, we have Donkey Kong 64, a massive title packed with minigames and King Key Rool's epic final battle. The page also features our official Nintendo 64 controller and the Logic 364 controller, both getting a thumbs up for their design and functionality. This page dives into some cracking Nintendo 64 titles. We kick off with Duke Nukem 0 Hour, a high-octane shooter where Duke battles through time, and it's a class example of gun fun. Next up is 1-1 Racing Championship, a fast-paced racer with realistic handling, though multiplayer is limited to 2 players. F1 World Grand Prix 2 is another solid racing pick, offering great handling and plenty of tracks, but again multiplayer is a bit of a letdown. ECW Revolution gets a nod for its hardcore wrestling action, pushing the limits with barbed wire and bats. FIFA 99 is celebrated as a sensational football game, easy to pick up and play with a great arsenal of tricks. Excitebike 64 is an awesome 4-player motorbike racer that really gets your adrenaline pumping. We also see a few handy accessories. The new-gen Manta Ray controller, almost as good as Nintendo's official pad, and the Blaze HyperPad Plus, a good all-rounder despite sticky buttons. Finally, the GameStar G64 controller is a decent budget option for your N64. The next page showcases some of the best the Nintendo 64 had to offer, starting with the legendary GoldenEye 007, hailed as the finest first-person shooter ever made, with superb single and multiplayer modes. Following that is Lilat Wars, a fantastic space shooter that's a blast for all. Then we have ISS 98, the king of multiplayer football fun, and International Track and Field, a button-mashing delight with plenty of events. Jet Force Gemini is a massive action-adventure that's a real blast, and Mario Golf offers quirky but addictive gameplay. Finally, Mario Tennis brings some light-hearted fun to the console. The page also highlights 2 essential accessories: the Rumble Pack, offering deep and lively vibrations, and the rechargeable Jolt Pack, a handy alternative for rumble action. This page dives into some classic Nintendo 64 titles, with some cracking reviews. We've got Mario Party 2, which sounds like the ultimate party game with its vast array of minigames, and NFL Quarterback Club 99, a decent American football sim that's really worth a punt if you're a fan. Operation Winback gets a good write-up for its explosive stealth action, and Mickey Speedway USA seems to be a solid kart racer. Then there's Perfect Dark, which the reviewer clearly thinks is brilliant, even better than GoldenEye 007 in some respects, and Mortal Kombat 4, a surprisingly good fighting game. We also see a couple of Rumble Pack accessories, the G64 Tremor and Memory Pack, and the Shockwave, plus the Jolt Pack, all offering that extra bit of feedback to games. This page is a fantastic dive into what's hot in the gaming world, with a look at some absolute classics. We've got Lilac Wars, which sounds like a brilliant nostalgia trip for any Star Fox fan. Then there's the iconic Pokémon Stadium, a must-have for anyone who loved collecting those creatures on the Game Boy. South Park gets a mention too. Apparently it's a hilarious cartoon treat with mutant turkeys, which sounds utterly bonkers but brilliant. And who could forget Rayman 2? It's a platformer that's apparently as beautiful as it is fun, with some clever puzzles thrown in. On the other side, we're treated to Premier Manager 64, which promises endless hours of football management fun, even if it's a bit dated. And then there's Quake 2, a proper adrenaline-pumping shooter that delivers intense alien-blasting action. Finally, the page wraps up with a look at some essential Nintendo 64 accessories. The Nintendo Controller Pack 256K for saving all your hard-earned progress, and the 8 meg memory from Blaze, apparently capable of holding all your high scores and game info without a hitch. This page is a treasure trove of N64 gems. We kick off with Rayman 2, a stunning platformer praised for its magical moments and challenging gameplay. Shadow Man follows, a spooktacular adventure that delivers frights and twists. Then it's on to South Park, a hilarious and crude adaptation that captures the show's spirit perfectly. Resident Evil 2 is next, a terrifying survival horror that will have you jumping out of your seat. Ridge Racer 64 is a speedy racer that's great for multiplayer fun. Rocket Robot on Wheels offers a unique platforming experience with a robot lacking arms or legs. Finally, Star Wars Rogue Squadron takes you into the cockpit for epic space battles. We also see some essential N64 accessories. Logic 3's 1 meg memory card for saving your game data, Spectra Video's memory card that keeps your stuff safe but can be unreliable, and Joytech's Red 1 meg memory card, a sensible choice for gamers. This showcase highlights N64 classics like Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, 90%, a fast-paced racing game, and the revolutionary Super Mario 64 92%, praised for its charm and secrets. 1080-degree snowboarding, 90%, delivers immersive snowboarding action, while Super Smash Bros., 94%, offers chaotic multiplayer fun. Tarzan provides a delightful platforming alternative, and Turok 2 remains a memorable, though dated, multiplayer shooter. The review also features a look at N64 accessories, specifically steering wheels, the Top Drive Plus and Formula Race Pro, both noted for their sturdy build and improved handling, offering a more immersive racing experience beyond traditional button controls. These games represent the best of the N64's diverse library and enduring appeal. This page takes a nostalgic trip through some N64 classics and showcases some rather fetching racing wheels. We've got Turok Rage Wars, a rather violent-sounding shooter, and Twine, a Bond-esque first-person shooter that's a bit of a slow burner. Then there's WWF Attitude and WWF No Mercy, promising plenty of grapple-tastic fun for wrestling fans. Over on the other side, we're treated to a very enthusiastic piece about Luigi, celebrating his underappreciated talent, and a peek at some gaming peripherals. The Guillermo Shock 2 and version 3 FX Racing Wheel, plus the Race 64 Compact. Seems like a good mix of action and accessories. This page delves into some Nintendo 64 gaming giants. First up we have Zelda Majora's Mask, a truly epic adventure that, despite initial doubts, proved to be as compelling as its predecessor. The reviewer particularly praises the Dequa Scrub mask section and the sheer variety of masks and songs on offer. Next, we're treated to Zelda Ocarina of Time, heralded as a masterpiece and a genuine fairy tale experience, with the reviewer highlighting its engaging gameplay and captivating story. The page also features a lively rundown of the Mario Kart Super Circuit release, urging readers to grab their copies. Finally, a sales chart showcases the top 10 games, with Conker's Bad Fur Day leading the pack. This page is a full-page advertisement for the Harry Potter trading card game. It features artwork of Harry Potter and other characters, along with game cards. The text encourages readers to test their wizardry skills and find the magic within. This page is packed with official tips and tricks for a variety of Nintendo titles, making it an essential read for any gamer looking to gain an edge. We've got hints for Banjo-Kazooie, Castlevania, Circle of the Moon, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Iridian 3D, Lego Racers, and Mario Kart 64, all promising to unlock the secrets of these beloved games. The main feature dives deep into Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, offering first-ever tips for the Game Boy Advance version. It promises to show off the game's quality and provides advice that will apparently consume your social life. In a good way, of course. Adding to the excitement, there's a section on Your Tips where readers can submit their Nintendo knowledge for a chance to win prizes. Plus, we get a look at your scores, encouraging competitive players to share their gaming prowess. The page also includes a handy guide for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on GBA, promising to help you kickflip your way to the top. The included screenshots offer a glimpse into the gameplay, showcasing some impressive tricks and moves. It's a real treasure trove for any Nintendo fan. This page is a treasure trove of official tips for gamers. We get a look at the N64 and Game Boy Advance controller icons, which are super handy for navigating game codes. Then, it dives into Iridian 3D, highlighting its stunning visuals and offering cheats to help you through its tough levels. Finally, it covers Castlevania, Circle of the Moon, promising crafty codes to help you conquer this atmospheric classic. It's all about making sure you get the most out of these fantastic games. This page is packed with essential gaming wisdom, featuring the official Nintendo Top 5 tips and a classic corner section. We get some cracking tips for Conker's Bad Fur Day, including how to make the game very easy and unlock weird weapons like a chainsaw and samurai sword with the code SPUNKJOCKEY. Then, it's on to Banjo-Tooie for more cheats, like Cheetos Retaf to double your feathers and Cheetok Cabieno to refill your energy. Over in the classic corner, we're treated to tips for Super Smash Bros. On the GameCube. Apparently, Jigglypuff is unlockable, and you can even change character outfits by holding down C buttons and pressing A. Captain Falcon from Zero can be unlocked by beating the game in under 20 minutes. The page also delves into WWF No Mercy, showing us how to perform partner special moves in tag team mode with a specific button combination. For Mario Kart 64, there's a tip on creating a new driver, or editing one by entering the name MX/PMX. Finally, we have a tip for Mario Tennis, explaining how to unlock the Baby Mario and Yoshi court by winning the Mushroom Cup with Yoshi. It's all great stuff for any Nintendo enthusiast. This page is a fantastic guide for Mario Kart 64, specifically focusing on mastering the Banshee Boardwalk track. It offers crucial advice on picking the right character, suggesting Wario, Donkey Kong, or Bowser for their cornering abilities, which is absolutely spot on for that tricky circuit. The page also features a progression of screenshots, showing the player's progress through the race, highlighting key moments like taking 3rd and 4th place. It's a great little refresher course for anyone looking to conquer those tough bends and bag that elusive 1st place. This page is all about the readers sharing their gaming wisdom. We've got a cracking tip for WWF No Mercy, courtesy of Junior Cheeseman from Shepherd's Bush, London, that makes survival mode a doddle. Then, over in the Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Matthew Karras from Tyne and Ware has unearthed a neat trick for getting extra nourishment. Plus, Alex White from Wantage has a handy tip for Bond well, we're not entirely sure which Bond game, but it'll make him more invincible. Finally, there are some body armor bonus tips for you in the body armor bonus section. It's a great read for anyone who loves sharing their secrets and getting ahead in their favorite games. This page is dominated by a fantastic cover image for The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages, with Link himself gracing the front. We're promised all the latest Game Boy exclusives, new GB games reviewed, and of course the most GB tips and news, all for free. There's also a spotlight on Matt Hoffman, the king of the halfpipe, who's bringing his skills to the GBC. Down below we've got a heads up on Mega Man, Wage Robot War on GBC, and a peek at Stuart Little, Ace Minnie Mouse platform action. It looks like a packed issue for any self-respecting Game Boy aficionado. This page is a massive celebration of The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages for the Game Boy Color. The headline is pure gold. The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages, splashed in vibrant yellow. It promises that nothing can stop Link taking over your GB Color this autumn, and that this is his second epic quest. We get a good look at the gameplay with a screenshot of Link in a dungeon, and another image showing Link with Nairu, the Oracle of Ages herself, who apparently has a beautiful singing voice and a pretty funky hairdo. The review seems to be building excitement, suggesting it'll feel like Christmas has come twice in one year, and that the game will feature brain teasers as Link meddles with time in the land of Labrina. A handy game info box tells us it's by Nintendo, an RPG adventure, and released on the 5th of October. What a way to hype up a legendary game. This page is a vibrant full-page advertisement for Zelda, Oracle of Ages on the Game Boy Color. It prominently features Link in his iconic green tunic, ready for adventure, alongside Nayru, the Oracle of Ages, who looks rather ethereal with her harp. To the right, Veran, the antagonist, looms ominously. The bold text, Zelda Oracle of Ages Big Game Color, clearly announces the title, promising an epic quest for fans of the legendary series. This page dives into the time of change and the hallowed harp in Zelda, Oracle of Ages for the Game Boy Color. We get a peek at Link's quest to save Nayru from the clutches of Veran, and how the Harp of Ages is crucial for manipulating time. It's a great insight into the game's mechanics, showing how Link uses the harp to travel between past and present, all while battling foes and solving puzzles. The In Your Backpack section also highlights some essential items, like seeds, bracelets and bombs, explaining their uses to help players on their grand adventure. Honestly, who wouldn't want to wield the power of time and uncover ancient secrets? It's a proper adventure for your pocket. This page delves into the combat and character mechanics of the Game Boy Color's Zelda titles, specifically focusing on Link's swordplay and the formidable Maple the Witch. We're treated to a masterclass in Link's spin attack, a move that'll have you slicing through hordes of wild and vile mutants with satisfying ease. The text also gives us a heads up on how to defend yourself, which is always a bonus, especially when facing a dizzying array of nasties. Then, the spotlight swings to the utterly devious Maple the Witch. This little madam, who seems to have a penchant for stealing your hard-earned rupees and hearts, is a real menace. She's described as appearing out of nowhere, swooping in to cause trouble, and if you're not careful, she'll be slamming into you and scattering your precious items everywhere. Damn that witch, indeed. The page also touches upon the link cable functionality for the Oracle series, emphasizing that these aren't just remakes but entirely new adventures. It highlights the ability to share secrets and items between quests, which is a rather neat feature for those who like to explore every nook and cranny. All in all, it's a solid look at what makes these Zelda games tick, and it certainly gets you in the mood for some serious adventuring. This page celebrates the Game Boy's best new games, with a cracking review of Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX. It features a handy scoring guide, explaining that 90,100 is an amazing game you must play, and we even see the coveted Awesome award stamp. The reviewer clearly loves this game, urging us to skip the real-life thrills of lethal ramps, and just stick this cart into our Game Boy Color for some hardcore action without the Grey's knees. The page also gives us a peek at the character select screen, with Matt Hoffman himself, alongside some gameplay action. It's a solid endorsement for what sounds like a brilliant BMX title, for the little handheld that could. This page is a review for Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX on the Game Boy Color. It highlights the game's looks, with its quality graphics and fluid moves, calling it a real thrill ride. The reviewer praises the gameplay as, it's all in the wrists, noting the variety of tricks players can learn to achieve high scores. The Career Path mode, which involves completing tasks across different arenas, is also discussed, with the reviewer confirming it's a solid way to progress. The page features screenshots of gameplay, showcasing tricks like the manual and double backflip. The review concludes with an overall score of 92%, deeming it a really great sports title, with amazing playability that's challenging but not frustrating. The reviewer also comments on the fast-paced music and the lack of impactful sound effects, but ultimately finds the game to be an excellent GBC title. This page dives into the world of Mega Man Extreme on the Game Boy Color. The reviewer seems quite impressed, stating it's an excellent title with challenging platforming that proves the genre has a healthy future on the handheld. We get a good look at Mega Man himself, looking as ready for action as ever. The gameplay snippets showcase some of the bosses and environments, including a rather intimidating Terminator-style robot, and the fiery levels where you'll need to dodge electric currents. Tough stuff for our blue bomber. There's also a mention of the little green guy helping Mega Man, which is a nice touch of character interaction. The review even touches on the unique enemies like large green flying monks with spiky tails, proving that weirdness is indeed part of the video game charm. Overall, it's a solid score of 87%, suggesting a very playable and enjoyable experience for fans. This page features two Game Boy Color reviews, Tootuf and Trickborder. Tootuf is described as a fun game, with skill-based challenges and a variety of locations, including the playground and living room, where players collect poster pieces. The reviewer seems to have enjoyed the game, giving it a score of 83%. Trick Border, on the other hand, is critiqued for its poor controls and graphics, with the reviewer suggesting that the game is not a good use of the Game Boy Color's capabilities and will likely disappoint players. It scored a rather dismal 58%. The Commander Keen review mentions a frustrating and tedious game that is anything but keen, scoring it 67%. This page is packed with official tips for your Game Boy Color, covering Spider-Man, The Sinister Six, and Shrek, Fairy Tale Freaks. For Spider-Man, we've got secrets to skip levels, and even unlock a bear minigame. The Shrek section offers passwords to tackle tougher enemies and jump straight to the castle. It's a treat for any gamer looking to get the most out of these titles. This page is a treasure trove of Game Boy Color secrets, with some cracking tips for Freestyle Scooter and Flintstones. Burger Time in Bedrock. For Freestyle Scooter, you can skip straight to the park with the code YXGBRDTT00LLBHXWS, which is perfect if you're just looking to nail those extra points on the plants. And if you fancy the last stage, the Fun Fair, that code is M2D98XBT00202BHWS. Over in Flintstones, Burger Time in Bedrock, you can bypass those pesky early levels by entering specific character combinations. To jump to level 4, it's Frog, Fly, Snake, and Gazoo. Want to go straight to level 6? That's Gazoo, Dino, Fly, and Croc. Simple as that. We've also got tips for Powerpuff Girls. Battle Him, where the code phone card grants you unlimited super attack, making you practically immortal. And for those tricky spots, try Jet Fuel for unlimited flight power. Finally, the official Nintendo Top 5 Tips section highlights Pokémon Gold, Pokémon Blue, Super Mario Bros., and The Simpsons with some handy advice, plus Rugrats in Paris with a password to skip to level 4, ZKHMRTBS. It's a real blast from the past for any GBC enthusiast. This page is a fantastic showcase of Game Boy accessories and games. The headline boldly declares Game Boy Test, and the main text highlights that whether you're buying or being bought for, these are the gadgets you need. It mentions useful accessories, like a battery pack, a C adapter, and link cable, along with a GameStar and an Essentials pack, for £14.99. Featured games include Spider-Man 2, described as creeping around the big bad city with the webbed wonder, priced at £24.99. Then there's Mickey Speedway, a kart-style racer with Disney stars, also £24.99. Carl Lewis Athletics promises to let you be the Yankee athletics legend, befitting a champ, for £24.99 as well. Finally, Grand Theft Auto is presented as becoming public enemy number 1 in this crime caper, and Martian Revenge involves Marvin and other Looney Tunes characters stopping Daffy, both also £24.99. The page also features a large yellow S with an official Nintendo Magazine Awesome sticker, suggesting a review or feature. Alongside this, there's a colourful assortment of Game Boy accessories, including a yellow pouch, cables, and a blue game case, with another game cartridge, Soccer Manager, visible in a clear case. The text also wisely advises to make sure your games are well protected with these handy cases. It's a real blast from the past for any serious Game Boy fan. This page delves into the best GB games with a fresh selection for your pocket powerhouse. We've got a cracking purple Game Boy Color on display, looking rather snazzy, and the text tells us these consoles come with rechargeable batteries, speakers, and that all-important rumble pack. It's described as a rechargeable battery, speakers, and rumble pack. Looks cool too. The featured games are a good mix. Perfect Dark is highlighted as a top shooter with Ace Combat and a cool rumble pack, costing a tidy £24.99. Next up is Toka Touring Car, promising A-speeder action for your dad to enjoy, also £24.99. For sports fans, Mario Tennis is presented as a game that's no exception to top-notch quality, giving you the chance to reach the final. Finally, Ghosts and Goblins gets a mention as a very playable and highly entertaining remake of a yesteryear classic, where you save Guinevere and Stophades once and for all. We also see some rather cool accessories, a graphics kit for £4.99 and Meerkat stickers to jazz up your Game Boy Color, along with Shock and Rock and Nyko accessories. And who could forget the massive 8 meg of built-in memory for your Game Boy, the Mega Memory storage system, which promises a lot of high scores. It's all about enhancing your Game Boy experience here. This page is all about the colourful adventures of Stuart Little in his Game Boy Color outing. Stuart Little, The Journey Home. It seems our favorite mouse is taking on 8 movie locations, with ace characters, and power-ups aplenty. The screenshots show Stuart navigating what looks like a rather serene boating section, and a rather precarious tree-swinging challenge. The text hints at battling your way through familiar film locales, from miniature golf to Central Park, and even meeting characters like Snowbell and George. It sounds like a charming platformer that perfectly captures the spirit of the film. This page showcases the Game Boy Color title, Stuart Little, The Journey Home. We see Stuart Little himself in his signature red sweater and grey trousers, looking ready for action. The page features multiple screenshots of the game, with one showing Stuart facing off against a rather grumpy-looking frog in what appears to be an indoor setting, complete with brick walls. Another screenshot depicts Stuart in a cowboy-esque environment, ready for some action. Further on, we see Stuart navigating a racetrack, with a few cars and a signpost. The text enthusiastically describes Stuart's adventures across 8 movie locations, promising familiar faces and power-ups. It warns of nasty baddies, and encourages players to keep an eye out for a gunslinger's bullets, which is quite amusing. The reviewer's thoughts are printed in a black box, noting the film was a riot, and the game will hopefully be faithful. They also mention that platformers are 2 a penny on the Game Boy Color, but express hope that this one has a little extra icing on the cake. It seems like a charming game, perfect for fans of the film. This page is a fantastic feature on the Game Boy Color, celebrating some top-tier video releases with a blagfest. We're treated to sneak peeks of Pokémon videos, specifically Fighting Tournament and Fashion Victims, with 3 full episodes on each disc, a treat for any Pokemaniacs out there. Warner Home Video is giving away 5 copies of these videos, and all you need to do is answer a rather tricky Pokémon question about gym leaders in Cianwood City. Then there's the charming Stuart Little, who we can win by answering a question about his voice actor. Plus, we get a look at Dexter's laboratory ego trip, with another competition to win a video. It's a brilliant showcase of animated goodness for the Game Boy Color, and I've definitely played all of these. This page is a veritable treasure trove of tips and tricks for gamers, featuring a section called Your Questions Answered. We get a helpful guide for GoldenEye 007 on how to unmask Giannis and find the flight recorder, with a great screenshot to boot. Then there's a walkthrough for Pokemon Silver, showing you exactly where to find 07 Waterfall, across 4 handy screenshots. Conker's Bad Fur Day gets a mention too, with a tip on how to get past the rock-solid disco. We also dive into some gameplay tips for Zero Maximum Velocity, with a Warriors winner shoutout, and WWF No Mercy, also featuring a Warriors winner. The page rounds off with a call to action for the write-in section, inviting readers to send in their top tips for a chance to win some Nintendo gear. It's clear the magazine is packed with essential gaming knowledge, and I've certainly tried all of these myself. This page showcases this month's toughest challenges from F-Zero GBA and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 GBA, with the top scores in Zero GBA being Robbie Savage from Devon with a time of 2 hours 27 minutes and 15 seconds, and in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 GBA, Daniel Francis from Plymouth achieved a massive 73,959 points. The page also highlights other high scorers in each game, with Vorant Patrick from Hull and a Smith from Sunderland also making an appearance. There's also a section encouraging readers to prove their skills with a Nintendo 64 controller up for grabs. It looks like it's time to get those thumbs moving. This page features the WWF No Mercy Mega Challenge, which has had its closing date extended due to popular demand. It's a chance for you to prove your mettle in the virtual wrestling ring and become the real king of the cage match. To enter, you need to stand a chance of winning a place in the final by picking your favorite wrestler, and if you're fast enough to be the quickest out of the cage, you'll need to send in a photo of your screen and your fastest time to the usual Mega Challenge address. The final itself will see the top 4 finishers invited to Nom Towers for a fight to the finish. Remember to include a phone number with your entry, or your place will be forfeited. And don't forget, the closing date for entries is Friday the 14th of September 2001. With the final taking place on Saturday the 13th of October 2001. The decision of the magazine is always final, so no complaining if you don't make the cut. In the event of a tie, names will be drawn out to attend the final. It's Friday the 14th of September 2001, so get those entries in. And for those of you who don't quite make it into the final, don't despair, as the magazine also mentions that if your score comes top of one of their leagues, you could win a fantastic official Nintendo controller pad or Rumble Pack. Super! This page dives headfirst into the icy realms of Super Mario World, specifically tackling World 4's Snowlands and its treacherous levels. We get a breakdown of Level 1, advising players to use Peach for her floating abilities to navigate the slippery platforms and avoid enemies like flurries. The guide highlights the importance of grabbing magic potions and strategically using them, even mentioning a rocket ship pickup. We also get a glimpse of World 4 Level 2, focusing on dodging Bezos and making precise jumps. It's all about mastering those icy challenges to prepare for the ultimate showdown with Wart, with the reviewer clearly impressed by the difficulty spike. This page continues our journey through the chilling World 4 of Super Mario World, focusing on Level 3. We're treated to a comprehensive walkthrough, highlighting how to use Peach's unique abilities to conquer the frozen landscape. The guide details navigating tricky platforms, dealing with various enemies like Shy Guys and Flurries, and strategically employing magic potions and extra heart mushrooms. It even points out a secret route through subspace, and offers tips on tackling a new boss, Fry Guy, by strategically using mushroom blocks. It's a tough but rewarding level, and this guide makes sure you don't slip up. This page delves into World 5 of Super Mario World, a decidedly more relaxing environment compared to the icy grips of World 4. We're given a breakdown of levels 1 and 2, with a focus on Luigi's adventures. World 5 Level 1, Forest, seems to be a gentle introduction with rustling trees and babbling brooks, though it does throw in some rolling logs and the rather unusual bouncing fish. The guide highlights using giant vegetables to defeat enemies and a clever trick with a bubble for a one-up mushroom. World 5 Level 2, also seemingly set in a forest, presents a nighttime challenge. Luigi needs to contend with the dark and some freakish forest dwellers. The walkthrough points out a pot containing a magic potion bottle and the need to navigate hopping hoopsters rather than pestering them. The subsequent sections cover levels 3 through 8, each with its own visual guide and accompanying tips. We see Luigi dealing with leaping trouters, climbing vines, and even facing off against a green birdo in Level 6, who seems to have a fiery disposition. Level 7 introduces us to Red Birdo, who apparently throws eggs, and the final level, 8, suggests a tactical approach to avoid incoming fireballs. It's a solid guide for navigating this part of the game, with Luigi proving his mettle against the forest's inhabitants. This page dives into World 5 Level 3 of Super Mario World, offering a comprehensive walkthrough with screenshots for Luigi. It covers various challenges, from using shells to gain extra lives and defeating enemies like Shy Guys and Bow-Bombs, to navigating tricky platforms and avoiding projectiles from albatrosses and sparks. The guide also highlights the importance of collecting magic potion bottles and securing one-up mushrooms. It's a thorough rundown for players tackling this particular level. This page takes us to World 6 of Super Mario Advance, specifically Desert 2 and Level 2. For Desert 2, it's all about Luigi's jumping prowess, navigating quicksand and throwing cobrats at each other. Then, for Level 2, Peach takes center stage, and her floating skills are crucial for traversing the sandy dunes high above. The guide walks us through each numbered section, offering tips on grabbing hearts, using magic potion bottles, and even dealing with a familiar green birdo. It seems like World 6 is really ramping up the difficulty, but with these pointers, we should be able to make it through. This page continues our journey through World 6 of Super Mario Advance, this time focusing on Level 3. It's back to Luigi, who's got his bomb-throwing skills ready to tackle some rocky terrain and a few familiar foes. We're guided through various sections, from finding a handy heart radish and a magic potion bottle, to dealing with those pesky red birdos. It looks like a proper desert adventure with plenty of secrets to uncover, including those all-important one-up mushrooms. This page guides us through World 7, Level 1 of Super Mario Advance, a decidedly cloud-filled affair. We're treated to a breakdown of 14 distinct sections of the level, showing off Peach navigating treacherous cloud platforms, ladders, and even a hut with a rather ominous-looking green birdo inside. The walkthrough offers tips on how to collect vital items like life hearts and magic potion bottles, and how to deal with enemies such as Shy Guys and Sparks. It seems like a proper test of skill, even at this late stage of the game, with the reviewer suggesting it's a tough but ultimately rewarding challenge. This page delves into World 7, Level 2 of Super Mario Advance, presenting a comprehensive walkthrough for Luigi. We're shown 14 different stages of this perilous final dungeon, filled with spikes, chains, and that rather unpleasant Toad, Wart, and his machine. The guide offers crucial tips on collecting those all-important heart radishes and magic potion bottles, as well as strategies for dealing with enemies like Sparks and Birdos. It sounds like a proper challenge, even at this late stage, but with these tips you're surely equipped to conquer Wart and free Mario and his pals. This page is all about mastering Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on the PlayStation. We get a breakdown of the content, including a look at some of the levels like Hangar, School 2, and Warehouse. There's a focus on forward planning, with tips on how to tackle those tricky checklists that are sometimes so obscure they make you question your sanity. The general tips section is a must-read for anyone new to the game, explaining how practice and effort are key to truly mastering this masterpiece. It even mentions boneless and manualing, which are essential skills. Under Crash Landing, we learn about the importance of landing perfectly, with advice on adjusting your board after flips. It sounds like bailing is a real possibility if you're not careful. The Pick a Winner section gives us a rundown of some of the skaters, like Tony Hawk himself, Steve Caballero, and Chad Muska, highlighting their strengths and weaknesses. It's a great way to decide who to choose for different situations, whether you're going for street or vert skills. This is a really useful guide for getting the most out of this legendary game. This page delves into the finer points of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, offering strategies for the hangar level and detailing how to snag those elusive hangtime gaps. It also provides a guide for collecting all 5 pilot wings, which sounds like a bit of a challenge, frankly. The page even points you towards a secret tape for unlocking a special area, all delivered with the usual expert advice you'd expect for mastering this iconic game. It's a solid guide for anyone looking to truly conquer this skateboarding classic. This page continues our deep dive into Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, focusing on the School 2 Southern California level. We've got a guide for the Wall Ride 5 Bells task, which sounds like it requires some serious precision, and tips for Grind 3 Roll Call Rails, where you'll apparently be testing your balancing act. There's also the Collect Skate mission, which thankfully seems a bit more straightforward than chasing bells. Oh, and don't forget the hunt for that secret tape to unlock a new area, always a treat. This looks like a cracking guide for anyone wanting to master this absolute gem of a game. This page features a guide to the warehouse level in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, offering tips on collecting the skate letters and finding the secret tape. The reviewer seems impressed with the game's challenges, noting that collecting the letters requires some tricky maneuvers. They also mention the Hit 3 Old School Gaps challenge, which sounds like a good test of your grinding skills. The graphics are described as functional, providing a clear view of the action without getting in the way of the gameplay. It's another solid guide for a truly iconic game. This page dives into the New York City level of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, giving us the lowdown on how to snag those elusive skate letters and the ever-important secret tape. It's a real test of your ollie and grind skills, with some pretty precise movements needed, especially for that Collect 5 Subway Tokens challenge. There's also a Wrangle the Blue Cow bit, which sounds like a right laugh, challenging you to do some pretty outlandish gaps. The whole page is packed with screenshots showing off the game's gameplay, all explained with those classic magazine tips that make you feel like you can conquer any virtual skate park. This page is all about competitive skating in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, focusing on 2 different contests, Marseille, France, and Skate Street, Ventura. For the Marseille contests, you'll need to bag at least $3,000 to unlock it, and the tips guide you through racking up a massive 25,000 points in a specific spot. Then there's the Ventura contest, which requires a cool $35,000 earned from previous levels, and rewards you with a further $35,550. The page showcases some impressive tricks like the Indie Nosebone and Mute Grab, with a real emphasis on pulling off combos and maximizing those scores. It's all about mastering those grinds and lip tricks to impress the judges and climb the leaderboard. It concludes with a final secret that hints at unlocking a bonus level if you achieve 100% in all goals and medals with every skater. All in all, a cracking guide for anyone looking to truly dominate the competitive scene in the game. This page is a veritable treasure trove of reader mail, and it seems the mighty Game Boy Advance has truly made its mark, changing lives with its incredible capabilities. We've got letters galore, discussing everything from the hypothetical joy of a Nintendo theme park, complete with roller coasters and game-themed exhibits, to the surprisingly controversial topic of Pokémon games. One reader is adamant that they should be ditched, while another champions them as the future of gaming, even suggesting a Poké Adventure on GameCube. Then there's the technical nitty-gritty, with a reader correctly pointing out that GBA and GBC connectivity is indeed possible with the right adapter. We also get a jab about the Japanese getting their games months before us. Typical. On a more personal note, we have a reader chiming in with their dream game selection for a stint in Bowser's Prison, and it's an interesting mix of Super Mario 64, Pokémon Stadium, and GoldenEye 007. Sounds like a solid survival plan to me, especially with that blood-flying car-following strategy. Finally, there's a curious inquiry about a potential BMX game for the N64, with the response suggesting the Game Boy Color and GameCube are where it's at for that genre. All in all, a lively bunch of opinions and ideas from the Club Mario faithful. This page is all about reader mail and a bit of news about upcoming games, and let me tell you, the readers have some strong opinions. We've got a cracking idea for a crossover game between Lara Croft and Mario, which sounds utterly bonkers but brilliant. Then there's a debate about the GameCube and whether it's king or a bit of a dud, with some readers championing it and others not so sure. We also get a look at Pokémon Smash. For the GameCube, which sounds like a beat-em-up featuring Pokémon, it's described as being like Super Smash Bros, but with Pokémon characters, and moves like Mega Punch and Mega Kick. It certainly sounds like a fun idea, though I'm not sure about the Stun Spore Sax as a weapon. Finally, there's a Mario's hit list section, and it seems a reader is quite happy with their Game Boy Advance after getting some scratches on it. The response is that it's probably just dust, but it's good to see people still so invested in their consoles. Overall, a good mix of fan mail and a glimpse into what's coming up. This page is a goldmine of reader feedback, featuring an email section filled with opinions on the GameCube and other Nintendo titles. We see praise for the GameCube's graphical capabilities, with one reader hoping for more titles that leverage its power. There's also a discussion about the potential for GameCube games to link with the Game Boy Advance, and some speculation about upcoming titles. In the Mario's Hotline section, readers share their thoughts on the GameCube's dominance and the potential of upcoming games. One reader hilariously recounts an experience trying to buy an N64 game, only to be met with a shop assistant who seemed clueless. We also get some bold predictions about the GameCube being the absolute king of consoles, and a few rather scathing reviews of Pokémon. The Blagfest section provides a light-hearted look at reader submissions, with some rather quirky titles and character choices, including a shout-out to Luigi, and what sounds like a rather dubious choice of a pirate named Long John Silver. It's clear Nintendo fans are a passionate bunch with a great sense of humor. This page dives into the Game Boy Advance launch day buzz. We hear from excited fans like Tony Wong, who believes the GBA is the future, and Mark Stanley, who is eager to play it at work. Michael Royal is also on board, having waited since early morning to get his hands on the device. The page also features a group shot of Joe Lerwill, Mark Wright, and David Wright, all proclaiming their love for the GBA, with David calling it the best handheld ever. Meanwhile, Carol Hodgson is keen to play Mario Kart. The overall sentiment is one of massive anticipation for Nintendo's new portable powerhouse. We also see a brief verdict on the Grobber's early success, noting over 80,000 units sold in the first weekend. Finally, the Who Does What section lists the magazine's staff and contributors, alongside subscription details and legal information. This page features the winners of the Ultimate Pokémon Art Competition. It highlights 3 age categories: ages 9 to 12, ages 6 to 8, and ages 13 and over. The ages 9 to 12 section showcases a vibrant beach party, drawing by Mark Aurore, 12, praised for its originality and colorful nature. The ages 6 to 8 section is notable for its dynamic artwork. The ages 13 and over section features a mammoth drawing by Rowan Ambrose, 13, which impressed the judges with its sheer scale and packed detail. The page also includes a description of the winning artwork in the ages 6 to 8 category, specifically mentioning Tommy O'Hara, 6, for his action-packed and colorful piece. This page showcases some absolutely stunning Pokémon artwork from the Ultimate Pokémon Art Competition, really proving that the UK has some serious talent. We've got a fantastic Snorlax feast from the 68 age group, with a couple of Snorlax really going to town, and a super cool Mudona concert by Ben Haynes, 8. Then there's Elizabeth Murray's, 10, Charmander's level 10 birthday, which is packed with brilliant little details, a real treat. Moving on to the 9/12s, Katja Scott's 11 Pokémon race is incredibly detailed, and Stuart Wood's 12 legendary birds picture, with its awesome jigsaw effect, is just superb. Finally, for the 13 and over category, Leah Ronan, 15, has created her own epic Poké comic strip, which looks like it's got loads going on. Dan Hesketh's 14 Moody Battle, drawing with lightning effects, is brilliant, and Taija Sepala's 13 Team Rocket painting looks truly menacing, a definite favorite. It's clear the judges had a tough time choosing. This page is a fantastic advertisement for the Pokémon Roadshow touring the UK with Toys R Us. It features the iconic Pokémon logo and "Gotta catch 'em all" slogan, alongside some of the original Pokémon characters. The text details how fans can experience the upcoming Pokémon Stadium 2 game, and even get an exclusive download of the mythical Pokémon, Celebi. It sounds like a proper treat for any Pokémon trainer out there. This page is a fantastic advertisement for the Pokémon Roadshow, touring the UK with Toys R Us. It features some rather fetching screenshots from Pokémon Gold and Silver, showcasing battling, and what looks like some kind of festival area. The main draw, however, is the chance to download the mythical Celebi and experience Pokémon Stadium 2. It also lists the dates and locations for the Roadshow events at Toys R Us stores across the country. Sounds like a great opportunity for fans to get their Pokémon fix. This page is a big fest indeed, celebrating the Game Boy Advance with a chance to win 3 of the brilliant handhelds. We've got the slick blue and white GBA models proudly displayed, ready to dish out some serious gaming fun. And what's a GBA without some top-notch games? They're showcasing Tiny Toon Adventures, Buster Saves the Day, The Land Before Time, Xena, Warrior Princess, Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, Top Gun, Firestorm, and Robocop. If you're not already clamoring for a GBA, this page will certainly get you there. Plus, there's a little quiz to test your knowledge. Which of these is a GBA color? With options A, B, and C. A rather nifty competition to get us all excited for the new console, wouldn't you say? This page is packed with opportunities to win some cool prizes. First up, we have a chance to snag a JD Bug scooter and a copy of the Game Boy Color Game Freestyle scooter. The question to win is a bit of a brain teaser. Which puppet show does the character Scooter appear in? With options The Muppets, Bill and Ben, and Sesame Street. Next, for all you X-Files fans, there's a competition to win copies of the X-Files Dead Alive DVD. To enter, you need to know, what is Agent Mulder's first name? With the possible answers being Badger, Fox, or Stoat. And for the ultimate thrill seekers, you can win one of 4 family passes to Alton Towers. This includes entry to rides like Submission, Oblivion, Nemesis, The Black Hole, Ripsaw, and Corkscrew. The question here is, which ride is the newest attraction at Alton Towers? With the choices being Submission, Surrender, or Compliance. To enter any of these competitions, you just need to write your answer on a postcard or the back of a sealed envelope, along with your name, age, and home address, and post it to Nintendo Official Magazine. This page brings us the latest Nintendo news, promising all the scoop on GameCube, Game Boy Advance, and everything else Nintendo. It's a jam-packed preview of what's to come, featuring Extreme G3 and Galleon for GameCube. Over on the Game Boy Advance front, we've got Denki Blocks, Final Fight 1, Jurassic Park 2i, The DNA Factor, Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX, Pocket Music, Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarder, Sonic Advance, Spider-Man and Mysterio's Menace. Plus, we get a glimpse of Super Street Fighter Revival, X-Men, and Reign of Apocalypse. The screenshots show some seriously impressive racing action, with one description praising the sheer power of the GameCube, with some amazing lighting effects and an insane turn of speed. It sounds like a wild ride. The page also teases some urban racing that looks equally thrilling. This page is a fantastic look at Extreme G3 for the GameCube, and I must say, the graphics are absolutely stunning, living up to the GameCube's reputation for sheer power. Imagine racing tracks so extreme they'd make your eyeballs water, with gravity-defying twists and turns. Plus, you can throw in some high-velocity weapons and rival racers for a truly adrenaline-soaked experience. It sounds like it's aiming to rival F-Zero, which is a bold claim, but if it delivers on its promises of spot-on controls, cutting-edge graphics, and top-tier track design, we could be looking at a real winner. They've even teased the possibility of multiple routes and jumps that will test even the bravest of riders. It's definitely one to keep an eye on. This page gives us a glimpse of Galleon, an upcoming RPG adventure for the GameCube, developed by the same team behind the Tomb Raider series. It promises swashbuckling action with Captain Rama Sabrier on a quest to free passengers turned into tree-like objects, thanks to a stolen magical herb. The screenshots showcase some rather nice environments and character models, and the gameplay sounds like it will involve a good mix of puzzle solving and boss battles across several magical islands. The We Think section suggests high hopes for this title, though it also hints that we might have to wait a while to get our hands on it. Overall, it looks like an exciting prospect for adventure game fans. This page is a prize-packed advertisement for Nintendo fans. It's a veritable smorgasbord of goodies, with chances to win a Lara Croft phone, a laptop, a Nintendo 64, a Fresh Move scooter, and even a longboard skateboard. Plus you could snag a PS2, a PS1, Pokémon Gold and Silver, a Game Boy Advance, £150 of games, a Harrow Stunt BMX, and a box of Team Rocket Pokémon cards. There's also a fantastic chance to win a Pentium 4 computer and a WWF live event. Talk about a serious haul of awesome prizes. This page features a preview for Spider-Man, Mysterio's Menace on the Game Boy Advance. We're told it's an action-packed adventure from the same team that brought us Tony Hawk. You'll be battling Mysterio's goons through various levels, using Spidey's webs and his fists. The reviewer is clearly impressed, calling the graphics drop-dead gorgeous, and the gameplay excellent, predicting a rare treat for fans. The page also includes a look at Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarder, highlighting the extreme sports star and the game's focus on tricks and controls. The reviewer seems excited about its potential, comparing it favorably to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. This page gives us a look at two excellent-looking Game Boy Advance titles. First up is X-Men, Reign of Apocalypse, an arcade-style beat-em-up where you can play as iconic X-Men characters like Wolverine and Storm, battling through various levels against Apocalypse's minions. The reviewer is particularly impressed with the signature moves and the boss designs, noting that the game features classic X-Men outfits. Then we switch gears to the totally different world of extreme sports with Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX. It seems this game is following in the footsteps of other successful extreme sports titles, focusing on pulling off tricks and signature moves to become a BMX star. The reviewer is clearly a fan, stating that it's a fantastic game that has lost none of its brilliance from its Game Boy Color days, and praising the inclusion of Matt Hoffman himself, who still shreds at over 30. This page dives into the latest Game Boy Advance and GameCube news. First, we get a look at Pocket Music, a groovy GBA title that lets you create your own tunes with over 600 samples. The reviewer thinks it's fantastic fun for budding musicians. Next, we have some exciting GameCube announcements. David Beckham is heading to the GBA, and Activision is bringing 10 GameCube games, including Tony Hawk's and Stuart Little. We also get our first glimpse of SSX Tricky on GameCube, which looks pretty slick, and there's a rumor of a Lord of the Rings game in the works. Finally, Doshin the Giant stomps onto GameCube, an oddball strategy game where you protect an island. We also get a peek at Denki Blocks, a puzzling GBA title with over 200 puzzles to tackle, featuring solo and multiplayer modes. It sounds like a challenging but fun experience for puzzle game masters. This page is a veritable treasure trove of mail-order goodness. We've got Dragon Ball Z, with all the action figures, videos and trading cards a fan could dream of. Then there's Sailor Moon, bringing us more of the same magical merchandise. For those after the latest ringtones and graphics for their mobile phones, there's a whole section dedicated to Eminem, Robbie Williams, and even some movie and TV show themes. And don't forget the Game Boy Advance accessories and games, plus a shout out to Nintendo 64 of course. It's a comprehensive guide for keeping your gaming and mobile life up to date. The next page previews Super Street Fighter 2X Revival for the Game Boy Advance, promising an authentic Street Fighter experience with top characters and extreme moves. It details the game's modes, including arcade, time attack, and mission, and explains the button mapping for attacks. The review highlights the game's appeal, expressing excitement for its release, and the hope that it delivers a satisfying fighting experience true to the series' roots. The page also features a brief mention of Final Fight 1, describing it as a beat-em-up classic with a tentative October release in the UK, featuring 3 playable characters and a 2-player link-up option to rid the city of the Mad Gear Gang. This page is an advert for Nokia mobile phone logos and ringtones. It lists numerous logos and ringtones available to download, with phone numbers for ordering. It also promotes a Win a Hologram competition, where users can win a 3D hologram by answering a simple question. The page also features details on Jurassic Park 2i, the DNA Factor, a Game Boy Advance title. It highlights 4 playable characters, a battle mode, and a new grind move for Sonic. It also mentions the graphics are among the sharpest seen on the Game Boy Advance, and that Tails is another playable character. This page is the cover for the next issue, and it's a big one. Next month promises to be the biggest and best yet, packed with all the latest Nintendo goodness. We've got Paper Mario, leading the charge with a look at its UK review, top battles, characters, and those beautiful worlds we've all come to love. Plus, get ready for Pokemon Crystal, a pink-tinged peek at what's to come, with Marvel at this web-slinger's fantastic new adventure in Spider-Man, Mysterio's Menace. And don't forget the Nintendo GameCube news from Space World and the fresh Wave Race Blue Storm action. It's all here, ensuring you get the most from your gaming. This page is pure N64. Awesome. It's advertising a free Nintendo official magazine keyring with the magazine, which is a brilliant little collectible. We've got a fantastic image of Suicune from Pokemon, looking as majestic as ever, and it seems the magazine is going to be packed with Brill Pokefights, all new Battle Tower challenges, new items, and fresh faces, all sounding like a gamer's paradise. Plus, there are some GBA tips, featuring a look at Mario Kart, Super Circuit, and a glimpse of Game Boy Color greatness with what looks like a treasure trove of reviews, tips, and cheats. All in all, a very strong showing for Nintendo fans. This page features the wrestling superstar Rikishi, also known as the Samoan Submission Machine. The magazine highlights his career, mentioning that he previously went by the name Headshrinker Fatu, and was part of the Headshrinkers tag team, winning a WWF Tag Team Championship. It also touches upon his time in WCW/NWA as part of the Samoan SWAT team, where he secured 4 World Tag Team titles. His finishing move, the Stink Face, is also noted, along with a fun fact that his father was a Samoan preacher in San Francisco. It's a great look at one of the WWF's most memorable characters. This page is an advert for Special Reserve from ukgames.com, featuring a wide range of Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Advance games and accessories. We've got everything from Banjo-Tooie and Conker's Bad Fur Day to the latest Game Boy Advance titles, all with fantastic prices. Plus, there's a special offer to get a free gift when you join Special Reserve. Don't miss out on this chance to grab some gaming goodies. This page is a cracking advert for Cartoon Network's 2 Menunami block, hyping up new episodes of Dragon Ball Z. It's got a fearsome blue-themed villain taking center stage, with the classic Dragon Ball Z logo shining brightly. We're told to mark our calendars for September 3rd at 5 p.m, so don't be late.